Are you learning English vocabulary? Here are the 3,750 English adjectives you should learn first. Hi everyone. I'm Heslam from www.translatien.com. This adverbs vocabulary list has around 2,740 words and it shows definitions for each word. So let's get started. Overtake. Overtake. Catch up with and possibly overtake. Lash. Lash. A quick blow delivered with a whip or whip-like object. Mortgage. Mortgage. A conveyance of property as security for repaying a loan. Affirm. Affirm. Declare solemnly and formally as true. Intrude. Intrude. Enter uninvited. Wretch. Wretch. Someone you feel sorry for. Porridge. Porridge. A structure attached to the exterior of a building, often forming a covered entrance. Anguish. Anguish. Extreme distress of body or mind. Menace. Menace. Something that is a source of danger. Muse. Muse. Reflect deeply on a subject. Cluster. Cluster. A grouping of a number of similar things. Abundance. Abundance. The property of a more than adequate quantity or supply. Dumb. Dumb. Slow to learn or understand, lacking intellectual acuity. Definition. Definition. A concise explanation of the meaning of a word or phrase. Defer. Defer. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Episode. Episode. A happening that is distinctive in a series of events. Lapse. Lapse. Drop to a lower level, as in one's morals or standards. Impel. Impel. Urge or force to an action, constrain or motivate. Multiply. Multiply. Combine by adding the same number repeatedly. Astronomy. Astronomy. The branch of physics that studies celestial bodies. Corridor. Corridor. An enclosed passageway. Thorn. Thorn. A small sharp-pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or a leaf. Mute. Mute. Expressed without speech. Relevant. Relevant. Having a bearing on our connection with the subject at issue. Disperse. Disperse. Move away from each other. Hop. Hop. Jump lightly. Statute. Statute. An act passed by a legislative body. Coincide. Coincide. Happen simultaneously. Coalition. Coalition. The union of diverse things into one body or form or group. Forsook. Forsook. Leave someone who needs or counts on you. Leave in the lurch. Presentation. Presentation. The act of formally giving something as a prize. Chip. Chip. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. Twinkle. Twinkle. Gleam or glow intermittently. Dignified. Dignified. Formal or stately in bearing or appearance. Shatter. Shatter. Break into many pieces. Nobility. Nobility. A privileged class holding hereditary titles. Jungle. Jungle. An impenetrable equatorial forest. Rhythm. Rhythm. An interval during which a recurring sequence occurs. Expel. Expel. Eliminate. Preside. Preside. Act as executive officer. Dissent. Dissent. A difference of opinion. Municipal. Municipal. Relating to a self-governing district. Pinch. Pinch. Squeeze tightly between the fingers. Parlor. Parlor. A room in a house where people can sit, relax, and talk. Crave. Crave. Have an appetite or great desire for. Patrol. Patrol. Moving around an area to monitor and provide security. Mineral. Mineral. A solid and organic substance occurring in nature. Screw. Screw. A simple machine of the inclined plane type consisting of a spirally threaded cylindrical rod that engages with a similarly threaded hole. Yearn. Yearn. Desire strongly or persistently. Defiance. Defiance. A hostile challenge. Drawer. Drawer. A box-like container in a piece of furniture. Fret. Fret. Be agitated or irritated. Rating. Rating. Standing or position on a scale. Banquet. Banquet. A ceremonial dinner party for many people. Dam. Dam. a barrier constructed to contain the flow of water. Odds. Odds. The likelihood of a thing occurring. Oversee. Oversee. Watch and direct. Equate. Equate. Consider or describe as similar or analogous. Trait. Trait. A distinguishing feature of your personal nature. Integrate. Integrate. Make into a whole or make part of a whole. Stammer. Stammer. Speak haltingly. Decease. Decease. The event of dying or departure from life. Comprise. Comprise. Be made of. Overflow. Overflow. Flow or run over, a limit or a brim. Ratify. Ratify. Approve and express assent, responsibility, or obligation. Trample. Trample. Tread or stomp heavily or roughly. Baggage. Baggage. Cases used to carry belongings when traveling. Ballot. Ballot. A document listing the alternatives that is used in voting. Tablet. Tablet. A small flat compressed cake of some substance. Compile. Compile. Get or gather together. Premise. Premise. A statement that is held to be true. Skeleton. Skeleton. The structure providing a frame for the body of an animal. Adverse. Adverse. In an opposing direction. Falsehood. Falsehood. An untrue statement. Elapse. Elapse. Pass by. Integrity. Integrity. And undivided or unbroken completeness with nothing wanting. Tuck. Tuck. Make a tuck or several folds in. Incorporate. Incorporate. Include or contain, have as a component. Haze. Haze. Dust or smoke in the air that causes reduced visibility. Revival. Revival. Bringing again into activity and prominence. Theft. Theft. The act of taking something from someone unlawfully. Calendar. Calendar. A system of timekeeping that defines divisions of the year. Famine. Famine. A severe shortage of food resulting in starvation and death. Ferry. Ferry. A boat transporting people or vehicles over a body of water. Endorse. Endorse. Approve of. Beckon. Beckon. Summon with a wave, nod, or some other gesture. Miraculous. Miraculous. Peculiarly fortunate, as if by divine intervention. 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 The act of interposing one thing between or among others. Bucket. Bucket. A roughly cylindrical vessel that is open at the top. Articulate. Articulate. Express or state clearly. Admonish. Admonish. Scold or reprimand, take to task. Verify. Verify. Confirm the truth of. Literate. Literate. Able to read and write. Ethnic. Ethnic. Distinctive of the ways of living of a group of people. Rot. Rot. Break down. Legacy. Legacy. A gift of personal property by will. Stature. Stature. The height of a standing person. Superfluous. Superfluous. More than is needed, desired, or required. Riddle. Riddle. Pierce with many holes. Dire. Dire. Fraught with extreme danger. Nearly hopeless. Enumerate. Enumerate. Specify individually. Flare. Flare. A burst of light used to communicate or illuminate. Glorify. Glorify. Praise or honor. Candid. Candid. Openly straightforward and direct without secretiveness. Discard. Discard. Anything that is cast aside. Evacuate. Evacuate. Move out of an unsafe location into safety. Sling. Sling. A simple weapon consisting of a looped strap in which a projectile is whirled and then released. Merchandise. Merchandise. Commodities offered for sale. Heritage. Heritage. That which is inherited. Incentive. Incentive. A positive motivational influence. Impair. Impair. Make worse or less effective. Strand. Strand. A group of fibers twisted together to form a thread or rope. hamper, hamper. Prevent the progress or free movement of. Elastic, elastic. Capable of resuming shape after stretching or compression. Clump, clump. A grouping of a number of similar things. Irrigate, irrigate. Supply with water, as with channels or ditches or streams. Fraction, fraction. A small part or item forming a piece of a whole. Perspire, perspire. Excrete sweat through the pores in the skin. Wield, wield. Handle effectively. Ruthless, ruthless. Without mercy or pity. Robust, robust. Sturdy and strong in form, constitution, or construction. Humane, humane. Marked by concern with the alleviation of suffering. Atomic, atomic. Relating to the smallest component of an element. Sip, sip. Drink in sips. Magnify, magnify. Increase in size, volume or significance. Confiscate, confiscate. Take temporary possession of a security by legal authority. Bombard, bombard. Throw bombs at or attack with bombs. Revoke, revoke. Cancel officially. Tile, tile. A flat thin rectangular slab used to cover surfaces. Compartment, compartment. A partition section within a larger enclosed area. Slander, slander. Words falsely spoken that damage the reputation of another. Glaring, glaring. Shining intensely. Comprehension, comprehension. An ability to understand the meaning of something. Excavate, excavate. Recover through digging. Purge, purge. Rid of impurities. Chime, chime. A percussion instrument consisting of a set of tuned bells that are struck with a hammer, used as an orchestral instrument. Stunt, stunt. Check the growth or development of. Impending, impending. Close in time, about to occur. Astronomer, astronomer. A physicist who studies celestial bodies in the universe. Retaliate, retaliate. Make a counterattack and return like for like. Oppressive, oppressive. Weighing heavily on the senses or spirit. Cramp, cramp. A painful and involuntary muscular contraction. Hushed. Hushed. In a softened tone. Trickle. Trickle. Run or flow slowly, as in drops or in an unsteady stream. Scant. Scant. Less than the correct or legal or full amount. Balm. Balm. Preparation applied externally as a remedy or for soothing. Nude. Nude. Completely unclothed. Wardrobe. Wardrobe. A piece of furniture that provides storage space for clothes. Civic. Civic. Of or relating or belonging to a city. Maneuver. Maneuver. A military training exercise. Evaporate. Evaporate. Change into gas or steam. Ambush. Ambush. Concealing yourself and lying in wait to attack by surprise. Induct. Induct. Place ceremoniously or formally in an office or position. Badge. Badge. An emblem that signifies your status. Deluge. Deluge. A heavy rain. Decency. Decency. The quality of conforming to rules of propriety and morality. Exterminate. Exterminate. Kill on a large scale. Petal. Petal. Part of the perianth that is usually brightly colored. Boulevard. Boulevard. A wide street or thoroughfare. Authorize. Authorize. Grant permission or clearance for. Intersect. Intersect. Meet or cross at a point. Overlap. Bouquet. Bouquet. An arrangement of flowers that is usually given as a present. Dial. Dial. The circular graduated indicator on various measuring instruments. Handicap. Handicap. Being unable to perform due to physical or mental unfitness. Trespass. Trespass. Enter unlawfully on someone's property. Consistency. Consistency. Uniformity or stability in arrangement, behavior, or quality. Outcry. Outcry. A loud utterance, often in protest or opposition. Slump. Slump. Fall or sink heavily. Playwright. Playwright. Someone who writes plays. Deduce. Deduce. Reason from the general to the particular. Advent. Advent. Arrival that has been awaited. Contaminate. Contaminate. Make impure. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Having no bearing on our connection with the subject at issue. Racket. Racket. A sports implement used to strike a ball in various games. Burglar. Burglar. A thief who enters a building with intent to steal. Snore. Snore. Breathe noisily during one's sleep. Mug. Mug. With handle and usually cylindrical. Frugal. Frugal. Avoiding waste. Dishonor. Dishonor. A state of shame or disgrace. Wrangle. Wrangle. Quarrel noisily, angrily, or disruptively. Depreciate. Depreciate. Decline in value. Bolster. Bolster. Support and strengthen. Hobble. Hobble. Walk impeded by some physical limitation or injury. Differentiate. Differentiate. Acquire a distinct character. Topple. Topple. Fall down, as if collapsing. Scarcity. Scarcity. A small and inadequate amount. Detention. Detention. A state of being confined, usually for a short time. Counteract. Counteract. Act in opposition to. Brag. Brag. Show off. Sanitary. Sanitary. Free from filth and pathogens. Aroma. Aroma. Any property detected by the sense of smell. Bleach. Bleach. Make whiter or lighter. Indigenous. Indigenous. Originating where it is found. Scenario. Scenario. A postulated sequence of possible events. Empower. Empower. Give or delegate authority to. Boycott. Boycott. Refusal to have commercial dealings with some organization. Alleviate. Alleviate. Provide physical relief, as from pain. Detract. Detract. Take away apart from. Diminish. Nag. Nag. Bother persistently with trivial complaints. Composite. Composite. Consisting of separate interconnected parts. Inundate. Inundate. Fill or cover completely, usually with water. Licensed. Licensed. Given official approval to act. Confines. Confines. A bounded scope. Capsule. Capsule. A small container. Squander. Squander. Spent thoughtlessly. Throw away. Venue. Venue. The scene of any event or action. Hurdle. Hurdle. A light barrier that competitors must leap over in races. Methodical. Methodical. Characterized by orderliness. Glamour. Glamour. Alluring beauty or charm. Curtail. Curtail. Terminate or abbreviate before its intended or proper end. Callous. Callous. Emotionally hardened. Eccentricity. Eccentricity. Strange and unconventional behavior. Rehabilitate. Rehabilitate. Help to adapt, as to a former state of health or repute. Generalize. Generalize. Draw from specific cases for broader cases. Grail. Grail. A framework of metal bars used as a partition or a grate. Dismantle. Dismantle. Take off or remove. Confrontation. Confrontation. Discord resulting from a clash of ideas or opinions. Mentor. Mentor. A wise and trusted guide and advisor. Wearisome. Wearisome. So lacking in interest as to cause mental fatigue. Reinstate. Reinstate. Bring back into original existence, function, or position. Canvas. Canvas. Get opinions by asking specific questions. Periodic. Periodic. Happening or recurring at regular intervals. Genre. Genre. A kind of literary or artistic work. Sparse. Sparse. Not dense or plentiful. Backbone. Backbone. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. Gloss. Gloss. The property of being smooth and shiny. Excerpt. Excerpt. A passage selected from a larger work. Permeate. Permeate. Spread or diffuse through. Chaotic. Chaotic. Completely unordered and unpredictable and confusing. Magnate. Magnate. A very wealthy or powerful businessperson. Trinket. Trinket. A small cheap ornament, knick-knack, or piece of jewelry. Decadent. Decadent. Relating to indulgence in something pleasurable. Fanatical. Fanatical. Marked by excessive enthusiasm for a cause or idea. Stagnant. Stagnant. Not growing or changing, without force or vitality. Ointment. Ointment. Skin cream that has a soothing, moisturizing effect. Recurrence. Recurrence. Event of happening again, especially at regular intervals. Rampant. Rampant. Occurring or increasing in an unrestrained way. Accentuate. Accentuate. Stress or single out as important. Allocate. Allocate. Distribute according to a plan or set apart for a purpose. Residential. Residential. Of or relating to the act of dwelling in a place. Seductive. Seductive. Tending to entice into a desired action or state. Dally. Dally. Behave carelessly or indifferently. Influx. Influx. The process of flowing in. Despicable. Despicable. Morally reprehensible. Outweigh. Outweigh. Be more important or significant than. Intensive. Intensive. Characterized by a heightened level or degree. Vanguard. Vanguard. The leading units moving at the head of an army. Brevity. Brevity. The attribute of being short or fleeting. Primal. Primal. Having existed from the beginning. Vibrant. Vibrant. Vigorous and animated. Becker. Becker. Argue over petty things. Unnerve. Unnerve. Disturb the composure of. Bookcase. Bookcase. A piece of furniture with shelves for storing books. Distributor. Distributor. A person with authority to allot or deal out or apportion. Remotely. remotely, to a remote degree. Crack down, crack down. Severely repressive actions. Plush, plush. Characterized by extravagance and softness. Lush, lush. Produced or growing in extreme abundance. Mirage, mirage. Optical illusion in which hot air distorts distant objects. Clipping, clipping. The act of clipping or snipping. Imperishable, imperishable. Not subject to destruction or death or decay. Dike, dike. A barrier constructed to contain the flow of water. Subtract, subtract. Deduct, calculate the difference between two numbers. Infiltrate, infiltrate. Pass through an enemy line in a military conflict. All-time, all-time. Unsurpassed in some respect up to the present. Abbreviation, abbreviation. Shortening something by omitting parts of it. Clutter, clutter. A confused multitude of things. Sewage, sewage. Waste matter carried away in trains. Tantalizing, tantalizing. Arousing desire or expectation for something unattainable. Petrol, petrol. Gasoline. Spinach, spinach. Plant cultivated for its succulent edible dark green leaves. Fundamentals, fundamentals. Principles from which other truths can be derived. Snip, snip. Sever or remove by pinching or snipping. Coupon, coupon. A certificate that can be redeemed for value as needed. Visualize, visualize. Form a mental picture of something that is invisible. Puberty, puberty. The time of life when one becomes capable of having children. Dribble, dribble. Flowing in drops. Pristine, pristine. Immaculately clean and unused. Dawdle, dawdle. Hang or fall in movement, progress, development, etc. Inexcusable, inexcusable. Without justification. Overdue, overdue. Not paid at the scheduled time. Industrialist, industrialist. Someone who manages or has significant financial interest in an industrial enterprise. Shorthand. Shorthand. A method of writing rapidly. Sedentary. Sedentary. Requiring sitting or little activity. Halve. Halve. Divide by 2. Divide into halves. Seedy. Seedy. Shabby and untidy. Muted. Muted. In a softened tone. Recurrent. Recurrent. Happening again and again. Replicate. Replicate. Reproduce or make an exact copy of. Cognitive. Cognitive. Relating to or involving the mental process of knowing. Exacerbate. Exacerbate. Make worse. Humdrum. Humdrum. Tediously repetitious or lacking in variety. Slake. Slake. Satisfy, as thirst. Expedite. Expedite. Process fast and efficiently. Scapegoat. Scapegoat. Someone who is punished for the errors of others. Lousy. Lousy. Very bad. Penalize. Penalize. Inflict punishment on. Downside. Downside. A negative aspect of something that is generally positive. Baggy. Baggy. Not fitting closely. Hanging loosely. Paycheck. Paycheck. A check issued in payment of wages or salary. Rack. Rack. The destruction or collapse of something. Graffiti. Graffiti. Unauthorized drawings or writing on walls in public places. Factual. Factual. Existing in reality. Faucet. Faucet. A regulator for controlling the flow of a liquid. Wrangler. Wrangler. A cowboy who takes care of the saddle horses. Smog. Smog. Air pollution by a mixture of smoke and fog. Shoplift. Shoplift. Steal in a store. Unethical. Unethical. Not conforming to approved standards of social behavior. High-rise. High-rise. Used of buildings of many stories equipped with elevators. Hipster. Hipster. Someone who rejects the established culture. Proactive. Proactive. Causing something to happen rather than waiting to respond. Showery. Showery. Of weather wet by periods of rain. Meld. Meld. Mix or become mixed together. Categorize. Categorize. Place into or assign to a class. Dissentient. Dissentient. Refusing to attend services of the Church of England. Watertight. Watertight. Not allowing water to pass in or out. Insubstantial. Insubstantial. Lacking material form. Introverted. Introverted. Shy, reserved, or inward-looking. Flavorful. Flavorful. Full of flavor. Hypothesize. Hypothesize. Believe especially on uncertain or tentative grounds. Accusatory. Accusatory. Containing or expressing blame. Extroverted. Extroverted. At ease in talking to others. Parallel. Parallel. Being everywhere equidistant and not intersecting. Acknowledgeable. Acknowledgeable. Capable of being acknowledged. Abandoned. Abandoned. Forsaken by owner or inhabitants. Accept. Accept. Receive willingly something given or offered. Adorable. Adorable. Lovable especially in a childlike or naive way. Alienated. Alienated. Cause to be unloved. Amazed. Amazed. Filled with the emotional impact of overwhelming surprise. Astonished. Astonished. Filled with the emotional impact of overwhelming surprise. Ah. Ah. An overwhelming feeling of wonder or admiration. Bad-mannered. Bad-mannered. Socially incorrect in behavior. Comical. Comical. Arousing or provoking laughter. Constructive. Constructive. Tending to improve or promote development. Cooperative. Cooperative. Involving the joint activity of two or more. Crude. Crude. Belonging to an early stage of technical development. Detestable. Detestable. Offensive to the mind. Devastate. devastate, cause extensive destruction or ruin utterly. Disgust, disgust, strong feelings of dislike. Fake, fake, something that is a counterfeit, not what it seems to be. Far away, far away, very far away in space or time. Frail, frail, physically weak. Funereal, funereal, suited to or suggestive of a grave or burial. Graceful, graceful, characterized by beauty of movement, style, or form. Hangdog, hangdog, frightened into submission or compliance. Hateful, hateful, evoking or deserving hatred. Hot-tempered, hot-tempered, quickly aroused to anger. Ignore, ignore, refuse to acknowledge. Impolite, impolite, not showing regard for others in manners, speech, or conduct. Inadequate, inadequate, lacking the requisite qualities or resources to meet a task. Inferior, inferior, of or characteristic of lower rank or importance. Infuriated, infuriated, marked by extreme anger. Insecure, insecure, lacking in safety. Insignificant, insignificant, conveying nothing. Inspired, inspired, of surpassing excellence. Interested, interested, showing curiosity or fascination or concern. Intimate, intimate, marked by close acquaintance, association, or familiarity. Inventive, inventive, marked by independence and creativity in thought or action. Isolated, isolated, remote and separate physically or socially. Joyful, joyful, full of or producing great happiness. Judgmental, judgmental, relating to an assessment of a person, situation, or event. Just, just, and nothing more. Kind-hearted, kind-hearted, having or proceeding from an innately kind disposition. Knowledgeable, knowledgeable, alert and fully informed. Learned, learned, having or showing profound knowledge. Liberal, liberal, showing or characterized by broad-mindedness. Liberated. Liberated. Free from traditional social restraints. Loathing. Loathing. Hate coupled with disgust. Logical. Logical. Based on known statements or events or conditions. Melodramatic. Melodramatic. Having excitement and emotional appeal. Mood. Mood. A characteristic state of feeling. Motivated. Motivated. Give an incentive for action. Objective. Objective. The goal intended to be attained. Orderly. Orderly. Neat or organized. Thank you for watching. Here are a couple of videos that I suggest you watch next. Before you move on to next video, if you find this video helpful, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Just click the link in the description below and enable all notifications. You'll be notified whenever I upload my next video. Thank you so much. See you soon.